Hello, folks. Welcome back to my channel. This is Horror Town, and today I have another episode review for you of Supernatural. And this time we'll be looking at the 8th episode of the first season called Bugs. The episode originally aired on November the 8th, 2005 on the WB. It was directed by Kim Manners, and it was written by Sierra Gamble, as well as Rayo Tucker and Rachel Nave. So what is this episode about? So the title of the episode kind of gives it away, but needless to say that it is about bugs. So basically in this episode, Sam and Dean are going to head out to a town in Oklahoma called Oasis Plains. And basically there's that new housing development happening in over there, and something happens, right? Something pretty, scary, pretty gruesome occurs. And it seems that there are, many, deaths that seem to be related to insects, to bugs, to insect activity, to bug activity, right? So basically, they decide to go there and check it out for themselves, as they believe that this could be a job for them to do, right? To conduct. So over there, they're gonna go there and, examine the place, kind of try to do some groundwork, try to figure out what it is that they're dealing with. And there, they're gonna learn more about, this housing development. They're gonna be meeting the developer. They're gonna act as if they're interested in buying a house there, but it's just some kind of a cover so that they're able to basically get closer to the place, get inside, and manage to really work effectively in trying to stop whatever it is that is happening, so that the rest of the town is safe, and they're able to they can manage to try and prevent some pretty awful thing from happening. This is what they usually do. I apologize if that's a little bit, clumsy. It's just me trying to, come up with the right words. But they're gonna find out that, the nightmare is far from being over, as, they're gonna learn something about the place itself. And, needless to say that things are gonna go from bad to worse. And they're gonna have to really, step up and try their level best to save at some point near the end one of the families that seem to be, in danger. And will they be able to or not? This is this is the question that we might have as viewers as we go through the episode, as we don't really know what will be the outcome of all of that. So I guess this is pretty much it for the episode. And yeah, this was a bug episode. This is the monster of the week, once again. And this time it's about bugs, it's about insects. Now, this episode has gotten a lot of, many bad reviews. Many people don't like it. Some of them even consider it to be the worst of the TV show. To be quite frank, to be quite honest, I really don't understand this thinking. This was definitely one of my favorite episodes of the season, of the show in general. I absolutely loved Bugs, and I don't really care about what anybody else says. It was an awesome episode. I really loved it, especially if you like these kinds of, movies, horror films involving insects. I think that this episode definitely would be up your alley. It is so good, especially with the whole, swarms of bugs coming, and, near the end, the characters have to basically run at some point. There's an attic scene, the bugs are all over the place. And Dean, as you can see here on the, the picture of the episode, yes, he's holding this kind of bug spray, and then he has the lighter, so he lights it up and fire comes out. I thought that this was definitely a fun scene, but at the same time, it's terrifying. Bugs is such a good episode, especially the amount of gore in this episode. You have blood at some point. In somebody gets bugs. I'm not gonna spoil it too much, anything, but somebody gets bugs inside of their eyes, and you can see the eyes are all bloody, and it's gross, but it's so good. There's a scene involving a shower scene, like in Psycho, and basically you have all these spiders, these tarantulas, kind of, all over the walls, and going, getting down, and you have this person who's taking a shower who thinks it's safe, and then it all comes down crashing, no pun intended. Those who have watched it, you probably know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I really loved this episode. I thought that this episode had some of the best, jump scares, so to speak, the best scenes, the very scary and frightening moments. And I didn't mention it, but at some point they're going to be making a discovery. There's something about Native American, some Native American thing. I don't want to spoil too much or anything, but I really liked it too, especially since it kind of, you know, as viewers, as we watch this episode, we cannot help but feel for these people, and what the evil, colonizers did to them, and that wasn't right at all. So it's a good way to raise awareness as well about, some, historical fact that is sadly, that happened, but that should be condemned. So I kind of liked the Native American, story, the fact that they're not, the to a certain extent it ties up a little bit to this episode, to what happens, and I don't want to spoil it or anything like that, but you'll find out for yourselves as you do watch it. But really awesome episode, loved it. So especially near the end. So let's move on to the actors, perhaps. So we have Jared Padalecki, Jensen Ackles. Then we have Andrew Airlie, who plays Larry Pike, who's the developer, who is awesome. Andrew Airlie, he was in Final Destination 2, if I'm not mistaken. He's such a good actor. Then we have Carrie Genzel, who plays Linda Bloom, who's the real estate agent. I thought she was awesome as well. Tyler Johnston plays Matt Pike, who is the son of Larry's son, and who has this kind of, infatuation with bugs. He has spiders, he kind of collects bugs, and he has, at some point there's a scene involving a tarantula, and I thought that this was pretty fun. Those who have watched it know what I'm talking about. Then we have Jim Burns, who plays professor at the university, as Sam and Dean are going to be, at some point they're going to make some findings, and they're going to take them to the library, to the university library, if I'm not mistaken. Or is that the library? I'm not sure. To the university, right? And then he's going to let them know about, something that involves, well, I'm not going to tell you what it is. You'll find out for yourselves. Then we have Anne Marie D. Lewis, who plays Joanie Pike, who is the wife of, who is Larry's wife. And if I'm not mistaken, she also happened to be in a movie I'm not sure if, or in another TV show perhaps. Yes, I remember her. She's a pretty good actress. Then we have Ryan Robbins, who plays Travis Weaver, who's at the beginning, if I'm not mistaken, right? Who's working with who's one of the workmen in the housing development. Then we have Jamie Herman, who plays Joe Whitetree, who's the Native American. Awesome, I really liked it, especially in one of the scenes he says to Dean, something about liars, and this is pretty funny in my opinion. And Sam is gonna kind of run to the rescue. That was fun. Then we have Mi Jung Lee, who plays Anchor Woman. And we have Michael Dangerfield, who plays Dustin Burwash, who is at the beginning, once again, one of the workers, and something happens, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but he was pretty awesome, too. I remember him. I'm pretty sure he was in the Dead Zone TV show. Anna Marie DeFelice, and last but not least, Jamie Schwain Beck. And those are the main ones. My favorite ones are definitely Andrew Airlie, Carrie Genzel, Tyler Johnston, as well as Jim Burns, and Marie D. Lewis, and Jamie Herman. Those are my favorite actors of the episode, and actresses. But yeah, they all did a pretty good job, especially Andrew Airlie as the father, who is, kind of at some point, not on very good terms with his son. But I loved the resolution and the way it closes down and the way it all ends. I really loved that. Also, the fact, the whole, I'm sorry, I can't say too much, but the Native American, story is actually a big thing of the episode. And it really, it's not just a little thing, it's a big thing, it's a major thing that is gonna, you know, be kind of like, I'm not gonna say it too much. I'm not gonna say too much, but kind of related to the twist of the episode. But I'll let you find out for yourselves, what it is. So if I were to rate this episode on a scale from 1 to 10, I'd definitely give it a 10 out of 10. It was an excellent episode. Yeah, I don't care about what the haters are gonna say about this episode. It was so bad. It was, with all due respect, this is completely, not true in my opinion. This episode is my favorite of the show. Probably of the season of the show as a whole. It was awesome. So 10 out of 10 for me for this episode called Bugs. Really loved the heck out of it up until the very end. And there was there's some references to, not references, the father is mentioned at some point. I kind of liked the way that the developer Larry and his son Matt's relationship, there's kind of it kind of reflects a little bit the relationship between one of the brothers and their father, one of the Winchesters. I'll let you find out for yourselves who he is. But I thought that this was pretty neat. So yeah, 10 out of 10 for me for this episode, Bugs. Really loved it. Really loved the scenes, everything. Especially even in the beginning, I didn't mention it, but there's a scene involving a sinkhole, and it's pretty creepy, And yeah, everything is so good. The bugs, at some point the brothers flip a coin to know who will get into the sinkhole because with all the bugs, it's kind of like Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. At some point there are bugs. Kind of reminded me a little bit about that to a certain extent. But yeah, awesome episode. Loved the heck out of it. So 10 out of 10. Really liked it. And also at some point there's a scene involving the woods and some bones, skulls are going to be found. And I don't want to tell you too much or anything, but it's a big discovery that is going to make a big a big impact, a big, it's a big thing in the episode. But I really loved all about it. So 10 out of 10 for me for this episode up until the very end. What about you folks? What did you think about it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Please let me know. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next review. In the meantime, folks, stay safe. Goodbye. Take care, and don't let the bed bugs bite. See ya.